I've got a treat for you today. I'm here with the founder of Veriswap, a new online trading platform that is taking the hobby by storm. You're going to want to hear about this and some interesting lessons along the way. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to a special episode. We are at the end of the day at the Burbank Card Show, and this is fitting to be here with you, Raymond, because I saw a lot of trading taking place all over the show floor today. Interest in trading has never been higher in the sports card hobby, whether it's kids doing trade deals in the kids trade zone or adults everywhere all over the floor trying to do little trade deals on the side. People inherently love to trade. And you have built a solution with Veriswap, which taps right in to that desire of many, many people in the hobby to do a trade. So first of all, Raymond, welcome here to the show. Happy to have you today.
Glad to be on here, Jeff.
Yeah, really excited to talk more about Veriswap and to hear more about your story as well. So first of all, to get started, for everybody out there who maybe doesn't know what Veriswap is, tell everybody about Veriswap.
Yeah, for sure. So hello, everybody. My name is Raymond. I'm the co-founder of Veriswap. Veriswap is an app where people can swap cards safely. So unlike other platforms, which you can use cash to buy and sell cards, Veriswap is a platform where you can trade. So our goal is to make it possible for people to basically have trade night at their fingertips any day of the week, any hour of the day.
Yeah, and I think that fills a big need in the hobby, right? I mean, there's people love to come to card shows like this to be able to do trades, but a lot of people don't have the opportunity to go to card shows, or they do get to go to a card show, but maybe it's a smaller local show and they're not finding people who maybe they want to do a trade deal with. You're trying to essentially kind of solve that problem at scale for the entire world.
Exactly. Yeah, so like I used to go to card shows every other week. I'd fly to Dallas, I'd fly to New York, fly to the National. Right, my favorite part was like the trade night at the end of the day, right? And like everyone loved that part. But it was hard to get a deal done. It's expensive to fly to these shows. So I just wanted to make something for myself that I personally would have used.
Okay, is that how this idea started?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. And when you were doing, were you doing trades online yourself before starting Veriswap? What was that experience like?
Yeah, so I used to trade a lot on Facebook. So I run a few Facebook groups like NBA Hotspot, Bowman Chrome High Roller, and among a few other groups, and I trade a lot on there. I found the process like pretty cumbersome because every single time I want to do a deal, I have to click through my inventory, upload 30 cards in my collection onto a Facebook chat, and then negotiate back and forth. And then I also trade on Instagram, but like that was also difficult. The fear of getting scammed, the fear of losing all of my investment. So I wanted to make something that like I could eventually use for myself.
And is Veriswap actually like serving as a middleman? Because I know part of the danger of doing these trades with other people on Facebook groups and on Instagram and everything like that is like you send the card off, you hope you're going to get the money back in return, or get the other card back in return if it's just a straight trade deal, right? And it's like you don't, if there's not a middleman involved, like how do you kind of keep that whole thing, fair and working? Is Veriswap actually serving that middleman role?
Yes.
Okay.
So when users agree to a deal, they ship to our middleman hubs. We inspect everything, make sure that everything is all right, and then we ship it out to the right party.
Okay, so that's part of the Veriswap offering. So it's not just a technology platform to allow people to find cards that other people have for trade, but it's also a service essentially in that you actually serve as that middleman for people.
Exactly. It also serves as insurance. So, both legs of shipping to and from our hub, we fully insure. So if something goes wrong, we'll cover it.
Did you ever have a bad trade experience like yourself prior to Veriswap?
Yeah. Gotten scammed a few times.
Okay.
People I don't know if you guys know this, but on Facebook, people collect vouchers. Sometimes scammers will make fake accounts to make fake vouchers, have gotten scammed for that. People have been saying their package has not been delivered. They'll file, a claim. There's many different flavors of scams. So part of it stemmed from a bad experience as well.
Well, and the best, honestly, like a lot of the best business ideas come from like, having a personal problem that you're trying to solve. When I started Market Movers, I was doing sports card investor videos and trying to show people the price movement of sports cards. And the only way to do that prior to Market Movers coming along was to, go on eBay, look at sold items, take all of the sold items, put them into a spreadsheet, and then use Microsoft Excel to build a chart That's literally how I did it for the first 6 months of doing sports card investor videos. It was extremely tedious. You couldn't really scale. If you wanted to like compare 12 cards against each other, it was a complete pain in the butt and would take forever. And I said, there has to be a better way. Right. And in your case, you said, I've done a bunch of trade deals. Some of them, unfortunately, have gone wrong, even though you try to do things the right way by getting vouchers and everything like that. And so you said yourself, there has to be a better way. And you're the one who actually now has created the solution to there being a better way, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of the product features that I implemented, that I came up with the idea for, there were things that I personally wanted to solve. So yeah, it helped a lot in terms of getting insight into those problems.
It's the best way to do it. And I've seen some things on social about some pretty big deals being done through the Veriswap platform. What are some like big cards that people have traded so far?
Yeah, so actually last week, someone traded a 1-of-1 Jordan Super Refractor auto from the Gaudi set.
Okay.
PSA 10. That was a $90,000 trade in exchange for it was a big trade down.
Yeah.
So we see a lot of huge trade downs on our platform.
Okay.
Into, I think it was like 10 or so medium-sized cards. Usually, if I'm at the trading hub, I'll physically middleman the packages to create content. So 2 weeks ago, we traded an Ellie De La Cruz Bowman Chrome Gold Auto 9.5 and a green Auto PSA 10 for Burrow Horizontal NT RPA.
Wow.
Jordan Beam Teams, Curry Tops Chrome BGS 9.5,
wow.
$80,000 trade. So
these are huge cards.
Yeah.
Massive cards. Well, I mean, frankly, if you're going to do those types of trades online, you have to have a platform like Veriswap. Like you've got to have Veriswap in there, like making sure that this thing is real, because there's too much money at risk, to not have Veriswap, in the mix of being able to certify this trade.
Yeah.
There you go. And that's the problem you've been trying to solve, right? Okay, so obviously it's a very logical idea. It makes a lot of sense. It's a need for the hobby. But what challenges have you faced trying to get Veriswap off the ground and get like wide adoption?
Yeah, I think the main thing is like people aren't used to trading if it's like not a face-to-face experience. Like, when you go to a card show, it's like very customary for 70-80% of your deals to contain partially a card. But people aren't used to trading through the mail because people are afraid of losing 100% of their investment. So kind of like that cultural shift to be able to send your cards off to a third-party middleman, for them to trust third-party middleman to inspect everything, make sure everything is good, and then have it shipped out. I think it's just like kind of the mindset shift.
Yeah.
I think is the key challenge here.
And I assume at times you probably have to hold people accountable. Like at times, I guess maybe a card's not as certified or something of that nature, right? Not as stated. Like how has that been? How does that work?
Yeah. So the main thing that we've actually had to hold people accountable for is not that, but it's to follow through with their deals.
Okay.
So flaking initially when we started was actually a very big issue on our platform.
Okay.
But we've taken steps to make sure that people shift their packages by charging penalties if they don't.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's cool that you're, trying to, put accountability into the process. I know obviously that's a challenge that sites sometimes have with people not paying and, that after winning an auction. And so, I think adding some rigor to that and holding people accountable is a good thing. You guys are just doing sports cards right now, but my younger son and my daughter are super into Pokemon. They love trading Pokemon cards. Are you guys going to get into trading card games or non-sports cards in the future?
Yeah, so they'll be happy to hear that we support TCG as well.
Oh, great.
So we have about 700 TCG cards, Pokemon cards on our platform. That number is growing by the day. We want to expand into that market heavily. We're also expanding to like just other interesting assets. So there's a Tesla on our platform. People can trade cars, cards for cars. There's watches, Rolexes. People have offered to list all sorts of things on the Veriswap platform.
Okay, so like if I could, maybe someday I can trade my cards for like, like a coin, a collectible coin, or some sneakers, or possibly even a Tesla. It sounds like.
Exactly, yeah. All sorts of collectibles, anything with a strong secondary market.
That's fascinating. So one of the things I like about Veriswap is you're also pretty affordable for people to use. Your fees are actually really low for them to go on and have this secure trading experience. In fact, you recently lowered your fees, which is kind of unheard of. Like in the startup world, like most companies kind of start with low fees, but then they raise them over time, and the people end up paying more and more. You did the exact opposite. Didn't you just recently cut your fees in half?
Yeah, so previously we were charging 3% of the total trade value. Now we're charging 1.5.
Wow. How were you able to do that?
Mainly through scale.
Okay.
So initially we had inefficient processes. Through more trades, through more learnings, we were able to cut down costs on our side. As a result, we were able to pass those savings on to our users.
That's awesome. I mean, that's really cool, right? To like be able to say like, hey, we're scaling, we're doing well, we're seeing more and more trades, we got more and more money coming in, so now we can actually help the hobby by decreasing our fees. Like that's, most companies don't do that. That's pretty outstanding for you to do. 1.5%. So basically, if I were to do a trade through Veriswap, if I were to trade $1,000 card for somebody else's $1,000 card, then I'm going to pay a fee of 1.5% of that transaction. That
on the total trade value.
Yeah, yes. That doesn't sound like very much. That seems pretty affordable to do that kind of deal.
Yeah, I think the way we thought of it was, it was a fee that I was willing to pay if I were to use the platform. So I assumed that other people would be willing to shell that out as well.
Very cool. I have to ask you, so we're here at a card show. We're here at the Burbank Card Show. And you are also, as part of Veriswap, you guys are like thinking about the card show experience as well, right? So it's not just all virtual, what people can do through the Veriswap app in terms of trading. How are you approaching card shows and try to improve the card show experience?
Yeah, for sure. So back when I used to trade cards, I would love to line up deals with people before I got to a show. So I created this feature called the Show Swapper feature. We have a list of different shows that are happening. If you're going to a show, you opt in, you can say that you're attending. And say, for example, you can message people who are attending the Burbank show. You can see a list of all the cards they have, their inventory. If you see something you like, you can message them and arrange a deal right before you even get to the show.
Wow, cool. So you're empowering collectors to actually be able to do these types of trade deals in real life more easily and get this stuff arranged before the show begins.
Exactly. And like another thing is like one thing I also hated at the National especially was like walking through like all the booths in the back, trying to like look for a particular card that I liked. But with this feature, users can indicate which booth they're at. So say if they're looking for LeBron credentials, they can see every single attendee of the show that has LeBron credentials, see their booth number, and just go and not waste time having to peruse through every single case.
That's a dream. That's a dream. I mean, that's one of the more challenging things about card shows. Now, obviously, that's got to be a challenge. You got to get all the dealers, get all their inventory and everything like that. But I love the mission. I love the thought process that goes into that for sure, because that would be a great solve for a big challenge at card shows, which is knowing who's got what and where to go for the cards you want. Very cool. Awesome. Where is all this going, Raymond? Where is Veriswap hopefully going to be, a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? I'm sure as the founder, as an entrepreneur, I'm sure you've got big dreams and big goals and big ambitions for this platform. Where do you want to take it?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the first thing we want to do is expand horizontally across different categories.
Okay.
So we want to expand to memorabilia, like I said earlier, TCG, all other sorts of alternative assets. We want people to trade across assets. So we're seeing some of that between Pokemon and sports. We saw trade of 5 Charizard cards for LeBron card the other day. But we want to expand across different categories, promote trading within those categories. And then second, we want to enhance the in-show experience. So we want to be able to co-market with shows, make the show experience more efficient, make it more fun for collectors, and grow in that front as well.
Awesome. Okay, so I love these goals. I love these ambitions. For the audience out there who hasn't tried Veriswap yet and is watching this and is like, oh, this sounds pretty cool. I'd like to go on there, see what people have available to trade, maybe do my first trade deal through the app. How do they find you and how do they get started?
Yeah, so just search up Veriswap in the App Store, both on iOS and on Android, and it'll be the first option.
Cool. This is great. So this is your full-time thing. Your heart and soul is in this, it sounds like, and you're growing the team, and this is really exciting. Are you thrilled with the entrepreneurial journey so far?
It's been awesome. Yeah. Learning every day. It's been more than I ever expected.
That's awesome. Well, we are excited to see where all of this goes, and I'm sure the audience will be as well. So check out Veriswap. Go download the Veriswap app now and give it a try. Raymond, appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Take care.